Welcome to Tekedia Daily. I'm Ndubuisi Ekekwe. Our conversation today will focus on startup valuation. Essentially, how do you boost the valuation of your startup? Of course, as we build companies, it becomes necessary that sometimes that we need to raise capital. And in the process of raising that capital, one of the key elements is what our company is worth. But for you to get to that position, you must be doing something in the market. You must be fixing a friction that exists in the lives of people or in the operations of companies. Because that is the essence of owning or running a business. You want to bring that capacity that your solution, your product, the service you deliver can actually solve a problem that exists in the market. And then when you have solved that problem, or when you are in the process of solving that problem, there needs to be a traction validating that indeed that problem existed, and the way you are solving it is actually generating value for people that you are solving it for. And that traction could come in terms of the number of people using your solution, or the revenue that you are generating, or there are other metrics which can be used to ascertain that if the idea you have is actually something of value. The market has validated, the market is validating it, and that means there is a trajectory that it can actually be a going business. So when you have done that, there is also the process of now going to raise that capital. You need to have a story that you tell, and also you have to be a messenger that can communicate that story. It's very, very critical to understand that you have two companies doing the same thing. May not necessarily mean that both of them are going to be successful in raising capital. Most times, the management team, the technical team, the structure of the company, and the individual is are good things that are very critical in evaluating having a success in raising capital. But there is something you need to do when you have gotten these investors interested in your business. What is that art that you can actually elevate the valuation of your company? The first thing you have to do is you are bringing a new basis of competition in your sector. You are bringing a new way of doing what everyone has been doing. In other words, if you can demonstrate that to the investors, that you are disrupting this sector where you are participating, you will have a lot of success in having a high valuation. And that means for you to do that, your scalable advantage will be high. It means that you are growing without necessarily using a lot of costs. So that means your marginal cost is low, and adding new users are not necessarily going to break your business. So if adding new users, the marginal cost of adding a user is very, very low, it means that you can scale that business without necessarily having a lot of difficulty. So when you have that, boosting your valuation will be on the line. But even as you do that, if you cannot connect the dots, that you are doing something unique and separate and different from what every other person is doing, you may find it very difficult for these investors to give you a different level of multiple, either to your earning capacity in the future, the revenue you have raised, or whatever. So Airbnb will tell you that it's not a hotel because it doesn't own any real estate. And because of that, it has a high scalable advantage. It can just open a website in Lagos and then it has a business. It doesn't have to go and get licensing lease. Hotel, it doesn't have to go and get a real estate. It doesn't have to negotiate with the Lagos state government about building a hotel and all those permits that may take years. Airbnb can just register a business in Nigeria and within days it's already operating in the country. That means the scalable advantage is high. Uber and traditional cabs, Uber doesn't own largely any vehicle. The people driving within its ecosystem are people that own the vehicles. In other words, all Uber needs to do is to say, hey, we are serving this new city. And those drivers will become the messengers to execute the Uber strategy. Uber doesn't have to go to a dealer to buy a car. Uber doesn't have to employ or train any person to drive his cars. That is something that offers a scalable advantage. Facebook has figured out how to say, I am not a media company, even though most times people go there to read news, read content, read what is going on in the feeds, because it doesn't want to be associated with media company, because Facebook enjoys an aggregation construct, which means that people create content that is unbounded, that is unconstrained on the web within the Facebook ecosystem. And then Facebook has to figure out how to present that content to people who are using Facebook. So because of that construct, Facebook has said and made it believable that it can continue to grow without any restriction, because it's not the one that is creating the content that is actually monetizing. Now, media companies, they have to spend money to create the content. So Facebook figured out, you can't read all the content, you can't read all the news, but I'm not a media company, because the raw material of my business is largely free. So we have the WeWork and office leasing firms. WeWork say, I am not going to be valued within the same construct of companies in the real estate that are leasing offices. But if you look at what WeWork is doing, it's largely the same. It has figured out how to present itself as a new disruptor within an industry, and investors are buying it. So ability to separate from incumbents is a very cardinal element for you to get a very high valuation. But remember, at the end of the day, your income is going to be what everyone is investing upon. That is the power that will be shared. Hey, you can tell all the story. You can get all the valuations. If you have to stay long and move into the public market, and the income doesn't come, everything can crash. Of course, most times people tell the story, they exit before they get to the public market. Maybe the person that just bought your company may have to figure it out. So the fundamentals remain important, because you have to make money. You have to generate profit, because that is the soul of your business. I wish you good luck as you develop a storyline backed with real fundamentals to have that moment of raising your capital. You're listening to Tekedia Daily.